Good afternoon, WSOU News. My name is Amanda Arostegui. Today, I will be interviewing the PR Student Association here at Seton Hall University about their upcoming competition and what their association entails. What specifically do you guys do with your association?
So pretty much Bateman is a national PR competition, and it's mostly seniors and some juniors that participate in it. And we're fortunate enough to represent Seton Hall this year in the competition. And we have schools all over the country that are also participating. And part of Bateman is that we really get the opportunity to showcase our skills, what we have learned in the classroom, and implement a full public relations campaign for our community, and even we can go beyond that. So I think it's really a privilege for us to be able to do such things and just showcase what we have learned over the years.
Basically, PRSSA is like the undergraduate version of this big network of PR majors. And then once we graduate, everybody here will pay their dues to be in PRSSA, which is like the actual professional version of it. Bateman is kind of like a little separate entity. Like, we're not reporting back to PRSSA as we do this competition. It's the four of us and our professors that have gone through the plan, created it, or looking at how we're going to execute it. And within this, we're working almost as our own PR agency, just the four of us representing our client.
When you say that you guys are representing a whole, like as a team, basically, how did you guys get to this point where you're now going to a national competition?
I think kind of like Sam and Jackie both touched upon is a lot of it is, we are in quote acting as our own PR agency. And I think, working with this group of girls and this group of women, one thing I've just noticed is there's just a lot of passion and dedication to the public relations major and to what we want that to be in our future careers. So that kind of like perfectly translates into what we are trying to accomplish, which is trying to create the best PR campaign we can create for Bateman. And I really truly believe that in our time working together and kind of creating this PR campaign, we've all kind of dabbled in different areas that we've been taught here at Seton Hall University in the PR major with all the professors. And it's kind of, I think personally I can speak of this. It's kind of remarkable to kind of see the things that we've practiced, learned, just done as assignments now actually being things that we are doing, applying, and kind of working more concretely on that. I think that's one of the really important takeaways from Bateman is, while it is a quote unquote like practice campaign, but for us the competition, we take it very seriously. We put in the long hours, we do a lot of background work, lots of meetings, to kind of just all see it all come together and develop.
And going off what Maddie said, I also think it's really important to mention that none of us were required to be a part of Bateman. We all chose to be here, and I think that level of passion and that level of us really wanting to do this has shown throughout our entire work so far.
How many competitors around the nation are going to be participating in Bateman? Because this sounds absolutely huge.
I think maybe honestly too many. We gotta wean out the competition a little bit. I think from what our understanding is it's a very national competition. I don't currently have any specific numbers. I don't know if anybody else on my team does, but it is pretty widespread, especially in schools that have big PR departments, especially like colleges of communication like our own. I know like currently, like I've looked at other New Jersey Bateman teams just to kind of see like what's going on there. But I know when we were looking at like old PR plans for past Bateman competitions, I mean, you saw it from anywhere from University of California, like Los Angeles, so UCLA, to Miami, to Ohio. Like it's pretty widespread. And, it's kind of cool to see that the passion for PR not only is in New Jersey and at our school, but it's clearly coast to coast with how many people are involved in this competition.
There's definitely about 50 to almost 60 colleges participating each year.
We like to call it, there's a multitude approach to it where you honestly want to hit every single thing that you've talked about. You want to be doing the social media campaigning. You also want to make sure that your PR plan is set as it provides like the timeline organization to it. But then you also want to make sure you do have events that are in person that can be more engaging to the public in that way. So you kind of want to take it in a sense of like it's a immersive campaign that we want to make sure that we're hitting all aspects of the community that we are trying to reach, our target community, to kind of make sure that our campaign is being successful in its outreach and making sure it's not just the social aspect, but we're also meeting, physically in person with people that are interested in what we're doing.
Where can we find your social media presence?
Right now, we mainly are marketing things through our Instagram, but we do have plans to create a TikTok soon. So there'll be more video content coming from there. And we definitely want to reach just the broad Seton Hall community, not only ComArt students. I think it's just particularly easy for us to reach ComArt students because that's our own public. So we kind of know ourselves, if that makes sense. And yeah, I think just we definitely want to reach as many people as possible. And I think the main kind of reasoning behind that is that we all learn that lymphoma impacts our age group more than you would expect.
Absolutely. And now that you've mentioned sort of the focus point of what you guys are doing, how did lymphoma come into play?
So we didn't have an option with picking our topic. We were told what our client was for this year, which I thought was very exciting. I was very anxious, like looking forward to who our client would be for it. So each year there's a different client. So I think that the more like interesting side of the process was once we figured out who the client was, the three of us or four of us trying to get as much information as possible on a topic that most of us really didn't know much about, which I guess goes to show why they're our client and why it's a great thing that we're doing it, is because it's not very well known. We didn't know until we started the research that it does actually affect our age group the most. So now the goal comes from it is we had to learn so much when we found out who our client was, and we want to express all of that knowledge to the Seton Hall community.
I think one of the things that we learn best in public relations is that you rather do, 3 to 5 things super well rather than 10 to 15 just okay. And I knew that was something that we kind of talked about as a team because, we came in, hot and heavy, 15 ideas each of us, and really kind of realized we needed to scale back a little bit because, there's only 4 of us, again, the 4 busiest PR majors you'll ever meet in your entire life. And I think one of the big things for us is we all, I think, had a meeting and we said, okay, what is most important to each of you? What do we think is also going to be most important to our campaign? And we kind of dwindled down to this like good 5 to 7 range of different topics and ideas that we were going to add to the campaign, including like the social media, the tabling, just kind of all those different aspects to it. And we then consequently assigned certain areas of kind of like leadership and taking initiative on certain aspects of it. And I think having that kind of just realization of, like, as long as we remember to stick to like what we know and what we're going to focus on, then the campaign is going to be successful.
What is the overall goal in this competition besides a victory?
I think definitely like one of the main goals is to educate like our age group, because like many of us said, I didn't know what lymphoma was. I didn't know that it affected people between the ages of 15 to 39. And, an important part of that is early detection can save your life. And that's definitely the highlight of the campaign, that we, to spread that awareness with other like students, even with other people, around the town, and even like within our, like beyond our community.
For me, just to like second everything Jackie said, but also add to it, I feel like one of the biggest aspects about this campaign for me, especially being, a senior, is that I really wanted to like apply what I've learned in the classroom in a real world setting. And I really feel like these ladies and our advisors and just the PR department has really helped get us to this point in our college careers and making sure we are understanding of what we actually are going to going into the field for. And I really think too, bringing awareness to something that really does affect more people in our age range than I think a lot of people know. And, lymphoma in itself, as well as blood cancer, other blood cancer disease, it's very, very hard. And it's not an easy one to watch. And I think because we're bringing recognition to it, maybe then it'll also spark a conversation in our community about what we can do to be more involved and help educate ourselves and potentially donate, help in any way we can.
I know for me, obviously I second whatever they all said as well. And like getting experience on this campaign has been so invaluable for me as I'm about to graduate. And I feel like now I can fully say like, okay, I've run a campaign from start to finish. I know how that works. But on top of that, as Jackie said, like if we can just help one person with early detection, or one person to learn the signs and symptoms that they would recognize it maybe before a doctor would, or, just early on, I think that that's really, really important. And even just if it's one person, I will feel like we were successful.
I second what everybody else. But something that I noticed and thought was so cool is last semester I took my senior seminar class for PR, and my big paper was about how PR can influence how women are portrayed, specifically in the Marvel film industry. But nevertheless, I really dove into the PR field and the marketing field, and it still really is heavily male driven, which leads to the over sexualizing, the continuous dumb girl moment, and all of that stuff. And for the first time ever, we have an all female team for this Bateman competition. And on top of that, we are the only team this year. So some years we have had more than one team competing against each other at Seton Hall. Which causes some networks to say, okay, we'll take this team and then this team, whatever it is. So I think it is a really big deal that we are not only an all-female team, but we are working all together. Nobody is competing against one another, and creating this beautiful thing. So if we're able to, like Michelle was saying, help somebody through this, that is awesome, because for very powerful, very smart and driven women, we're able to do that.
In the upcoming weeks towards your competition, what as Seton Hall community expect from you ladies?
So starting out, we're doing a few social media challenges where we're asking the Seton Hall community to wear red in support of lymphoma awareness, and then post their red outfit to Instagram and tag us for a chance to win a prize. We also have some like trivia challenges coming up later in the month. And we also have a tabling event planned at the Prudential Center, which is probably what I'm most excited for. So you can see us at the March 2nd basketball game. I believe it's versus Georgetown.
And going off that too, this upcoming week, just to do a little tease, we might be having some spin classes, dance competitions, all that fun stuff. So just keep a lookout on the Instagram for more information.
Keep an eye out for either one of us. We might come up to you and ask you some questions about lymphoma. It's going to be kind of unexpected, but we hope to do it as a trivia challenge for a chance to win a prize as well. So definitely keep an eye out.
Thank you guys so much for watching WSOU News.